Hey y'all, this is Ryan. If you missed today, which was Thursday, day 46, this is what we did. And also, if you came late and you missed the bus on the field trip, here is a few things that you can do to get caught up. So, first step is go to Google Classroom, and this is what we did on Thursday. First step is to complete this 2.0 document. So, you're using the same pathways that you found earlier, and you've narrowed it down to three, I hope. And the first step before we can calculate your return on investment, we need to have all this information. So step one is just like, what's the job? These boxes all only need to be filled out if you are going to school for that job. And then the last thing is, what is the average starting salary? So put another way, what would you make after right out of high school or college as a new employee? Make sure it's annual. So I don't want to know how much it is per hour. I want to know what it is annually. If you're going to school, here's what you complete. What school you're going to, how long will it take you, how many years or semesters, and then what is the total cost of school. So when you Google it, so for example, if you Google Arapahoe Community College tuition, it's going to give you this number, but you've got to figure out, well, what is that number? Is it per semester, per year? And you've also got to understand how long will you need to go. So sometimes it's a certain number of credits, other times it's a certain number of years. So this is going to be the total cost of your training program or your school from start to finish, no matter if that's a month or 4 years. So step one is to fill out all of these tables. If you're borrowing money, you want to use this calculator. So you can click there, or on Classroom, you can also click on this link right here. It's a very simple student loan calculator. So for example, if I am borrowing, what is this one? $9,600. All you do, it's a very simple form online. All you do is enter the loan amount. We're going to assume that you're borrowing all the money. We're going to make it a 10-year loan. So you're going to pay it off over 10 years or 120 months. And then the current interest rate is about 6 months. You're going to hit calculate, and it's going to tell you the monthly payment. This number, 106, 106.58, that goes right here. So that's just telling you what you're going to owe once a month for 10 whole years, 120 payments. So once that's done, what you're going to do is we're going to come back and we're going to work on this ROI table. So when you click on this, it'll open up a doc that's just for you in your name. So when you open it, it'll say your name hyphen ROI. And down below, it's kind of hidden for me right here, but down below, there's some tabs. You're going to want to click a new tab, and it's going to open up it should be blank. We did this during class. So let me delete this and we can restart it. So step one is it'll look like this when you open it. What I've done is each pathway is going to go right here. So we were working on Big Mike's software engineer one right here. So basically, what's going to be your age after 1 year after you graduate? So for example, I did this for myself. So I graduated high school when I was 17. So 1 year after I graduated, I was 18. So basically, we want to fill in those numbers all the way down. There's not a great way to do this. You just have to manually enter it all the way down. It gives us a nice kind of comparison to know how old you'll be X number of years after college. So all the way down. We're going all the way to 30 years here. So the next step is we want to figure out what's going to be your income for this pathway. So let's do my example from the sheet over here. So my income for a average starting salary for business administrator is $40,000. So I'm going to add that here. My monthly student loan is going to be $106.58. My annual student loan payment, whoops, So you see how it rounded this here? What you want to do is just go to this toolbar and you want to move the decimal point so it keeps the decimals that you want. Sometimes it's just easier to see the big number like this, and other times. So let's pause there. So what I want to do first is I want to figure out what this is going to be every single year. So every single year, I'm going to make the same amount of money, we're going to assume. So the way that you can do this, instead of entering 40,000, 80,000, 120,000, and keep doing these calculations, we're going to do what's called a formula. So we're going to go up. You see how I've selected the box I want the number to go in. We're going to go up here and we're going to put equals. Equals tells the computer I'm going to do a formula. And what I want to tell the computer to do is I want to tell the computer to take my starting salary, no commas, and then we're going to multiply it, putting the star symbol, so it's Shift 8 on most keyboards. And then we want to multiply it by the years after I've graduated. And if you look, what it's going to do is it's going to give me my salary. And when you take this little corner and you drag it down, it's going to do the math for me, and it's going to tell me over time what's going to be my cumulative income. So it's pretty crazy. In 30 years, I'll make $1.2 million at a $40,000 a year job. Now, what we want to do is we also want to figure out how many years we'll do the student loan payments. And it's only 10 years. So I'm going to drag it down to 10 years. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Beautiful. Because at 10 years, I'm done. Then I want to figure out what's my annual student loan payment. So the same thing, I can do a formula. I'm going to do a formula here. I want to take this times 12 months in a year. That's going to give me how much I'll pay every single year. And same thing, I'm going to drag it down only to 10 years. And let me play with the decimals. Yep, it looks like they rounded that one too. So now what we want to do is I want to find out my net income. How much money am I actually taking home? So what I want to do is I want to tell the computer, up here, let's see if it works if I do it in the field. I want to take my income minus what I pay in student loans. So that means of my $40,000, I'm going to take home that much. And same thing, we're going to drag it down. And you'll see if I keep dragging it down, when I get to a point down here, I'm going to be taking home exactly what I make in theory. And that's how we can calculate our net income over time. Now, you might have a job that doesn't need any training. So let's say I want to be a server. And let's say my annual income being a server is let's say $35,000. So what you can do is do the same exact thing that we did earlier, times the year. And then all we do, you click on the field you want to kind of replicate, drag it all the way down. There we go. 1.05 million. Then my student loan payment is going to be 0 and 0. We can drag these both all the way down because I don't need any training. Same thing here. And then for net income, it's just going to be the same as over here. But let's just do the formula just for fun. So we're going to tell the computer I want to do this minus this, and not surprisingly, it's going to tell us the same number. So we'll drag that down. One other detail to add is that over here, if you just leave the field blank, the program just assumes it's a 0. But you could do zeros all the way down if you want. It's really your choice. If you notice, if you drag the corner of something that's a fixed figure, it's just going to drag that same thing down. Whereas if you drag the corner of something that has a formula, it's just going to continue to do that formula. So basically what you want is at the end of the day, you want all three of your pathways totally complete. And then on Monday, we're going to graph them. So I hope this helps. If you have any questions, get with me.